Good day, spiritual beings, from Celestial Medium. In the annals of time, where the desert meets the Nile, unfolds a tale of devotion, revolution, and a love that transcended the mortal realm. Today, we explore the life and revolutionary beliefs of Pharaoh Akhenaten, a figure whose legacy continues to inspire debate and fascination. Akhenaten ruled Egypt during the Amarna period, a time of religious and political upheaval. Later, he would be known as the Heretic King, most famous for his bold religious reforms, eventually replacing the Egyptian pantheon for the worship of one sole god, and subsequently relocating the capital to the city of Amarna. But was Akhenaten a heretic or a visionary? To understand his reign, we must examine the man behind the revolution. Born as Amenhotep IV, Akhenaten was the son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and Queen Taye, a woman of extraordinary intellect and influence. Queen Taye's non-royal origins and prominence in court set a precedent for strong, influential women in Akhenaten's life, shaping his reverence for a future queen of great stature. As a young prince, Amenhotep IV, later to be named Akhenaten, inherited a kingdom steeped in tradition. At this time, Egypt was a fractured land with numerous cult centers devoted to various gods. The priesthood, particularly that of Amun, wielded immense power, often using religion as a tool of control. These dynamics likely influenced Akhenaten's later desire to centralize and unite the Egyptian religions. Amenhotep IV ascended the throne around 1353 BCE during the 18th dynasty. For a short while, he followed the expected path of honoring Egypt's many gods. But soon, his reign would take a dramatic turn. Akhenaten's chosen bride was Nefertiti, whose name means the beautiful one has come. However, Nefertiti was much more than her striking beauty. It is unknown whether Nefertiti was born into a noble Egyptian family or hailing from foreign lands. However, Nefertiti's grace, intellect, and strength made her a powerful partner. Together, they championed a new spiritual age, abandoning the pantheon of old gods for the singular worship of Aten. Their union was remarkable, not only for its romantic nature, but also for its political and spiritual collaboration. Nefertiti often appeared in public ceremonies alongside Akhenaten and was sometimes depicted wearing a pharaoh's crown, a testament to her unparalleled status. As parents, they were tender and revolutionary. Royal art uniquely depicted the family in intimate and naturalistic settings, showcasing affection, such as holding hands and kissing each other and their children. Their union was not merely based on politics or tradition. It was a true partnership of husband and wife. Together, they had 6 daughters whom they adored. Akhenaten and Nefertiti shared a love that was rare in any age, a love that celebrated equality, intellect, and a shared vision for the future. Their marriage would endure a reign that not only disrupted the religious practices of ancient Egypt, but would resonate through the ages. Atenism, the religion centered on the worship of Aten, the sun god, marked a dramatic departure from Egypt's polytheistic traditions. Aten was originally an aspect of the sun god Ra, who had many different names and aspects. For example, he was known as Khepri as the rising sun, Ra-Horakti when merged with his son Horus, and Atum when he set in the evening. At that time in Egypt's splintered history, Ra had taken on numerous forms that strayed from the truth or ancestral intent. Akhenaten claimed that the god Aten was superior to all other deities and had given form to all. As such, the god Aten was formally elevated to the position of the sole deity. Akhenaten's devotion to Aten was absolute, and he sought to reform every aspect of Egyptian religion and society. However, the shift to Atenism and monotheism did not happen overnight. The 5th year of Amenhotep, the 4th's reign, marked the dawn of monotheism. This was when Amenhotep, soon to be Akhenaten, cemented his radical new vision. He changed his name from Amenhotep, which meant Amun is satisfied, to Akhenaten, meaning effective for the Aten, symbolizing his devotion to this singular divine power. He ordered his name changed on stone depictions, writings, and on walls throughout Egypt. Not only did he remove all traces of Amun that he could find, the name Aten began to appear in a cartouche. The cartouche is an oval or oblong enclosure of a group of Egyptian hieroglyphs. Prior to Akhenaten, cartouches were reserved for pharaohs. This was a declaration that Aten was now king of the pharaohs. Furthermore, the word gods would no longer be plural. He closed temples devoted to other deities or defunded their maintenance, diverting resources to build temples to Aten. These decisions were as controversial as they were revolutionary, marking a dramatic break from the polytheistic traditions of his ancestors. To further distance himself from the old gods and the powerful elite priesthoods that were created in their names, Akhenaten built a new capital city, Akhetaten, meaning horizon of the Aten. This city, now known as Amarna, became the center of Aten worship and Akhenaten's revolutionary vision. Amarna was unlike any city before it. Its temples were open to the sun, symbolizing Aten's life-giving energy. Worship was held outside under the rays of the one true God. In the city of Amarna, which Akhenaten and Nefertiti built with their dreams, the sun's light became their divine guide, and love was their unwavering foundation. But this monotheistic devotion also sparked fierce opposition, particularly from the powerful Amun priesthood, who saw their influence and wealth diminish under Akhenaten's reforms. What inspired Akhenaten's drastic shift to monotheism? Some scholars suggest that a divine theophany, a visible manifestation of a deity, triggered his transformation. Theophanies are described in many religions, including ancient Greece, Hinduism, Christianity, and Judaism. In the Bible, theophanies include the thunderous display at Mount Sinai, the burning bush, and God's appearances to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hieroglyphs on Talatat blocks from the Temple of Karnak, dating back to the second year of Akhenaten's reign, suggest that the god Ra, as Ra Harakti, came to Akhenaten and proclaimed that the many gods have ceased. This theophany or divine epiphany may have come from a higher being or God himself. If so, did Akhenaten get the message distorted? Instead of the understanding that there is one true God whom powers all, including the sun, did he interpret the message to mean that he should solely worship the sun? Imagine for a moment living in 1500 BCE. All of your life you have worshipped many gods, but one god Ra is seen as supreme to all. One night while in bed, you are visited by Ra. He tells you, the king of Egypt, that your people have been led astray, that it is your divine duty as king to lead them to the right path. Ra, the supreme being, tells you that you will be met with fierce opposition. However, this is your burden and duty as king to lead your people down the path of truth. That the truth is, there is only one God, and he is all. This theophany had to shake Akhenaten to his core. The next day, he began to set a course to right his people on the true path. Such is his duty as king. Unfortunately, we may never know exactly how he received this divine message. However, this divine intervention was viewed as heresy to those Egyptians living in the time of many gods. As disrupting as this message must have been, it follows the true law of one. There is one all-benevolent creator. While Akhenaten's delivery of this divine message sparked monotheism, it was overshadowed by the disruption it caused amongst the people. Akhenaten's reforms were met with fierce resistance by the people. The exclusion of other gods alienated many citizens. The displaced Amun priesthood revolted upon hearing that their services were no longer needed. Economic challenges and foreign threats further weakened his reign. The construction of Akhetaten and the redirection of resources strained Egypt's economy. The reign of Akhenaten was short, and after 17 years on the throne, Akhenaten died of causes now unknown. A spiritualist scholar, Drunvalo Melchizedek, claims that Akhenaten was poisoned by the priesthood and murdered as a disruptor. When Akhenaten passed from this world, it is said that Nefertiti's heart broke, though her resolve did not waver. Some believe she assumed the throne as Pharaoh Nefertiti, continuing their vision of Aten worship, though this period remains shrouded in mystery. After Akhenaten's death, his successors, including his famous son or nephew Tutankhamun, restored the old gods and dismantled Akhenaten's reforms. Akhenaten's monuments were dismantled and hidden, his statues were destroyed, and his name excluded from lists of rulers compiled by later pharaohs. Traditional religious practice was gradually restored, notably under successor Tutankhamun, who changed his name from Tutankhaten early in his reign in an effort to find balance with the people. Tutankhaten means living image of the Aten, while Tutankhamun means living image of Amun, signifying the reversal back to the worship of Amun-Ra. He opened the temples and disbanded worship of other deities in public. When some dozen years later, rulers without clear rights of succession from the 18th dynasty founded a new dynasty, they discredited Akhenaten and his immediate successors and referred to Akhenaten as the enemy, or that criminal. After Tutankhamun's reign, the Aten disk became heresy. Although Akhenaten's revolution was short-lived, its impact resonates through history. His vision of monotheism predates similar beliefs in other cultures and religions. Akhenaten's story is one of ambition, faith, and the struggle between tradition and change. Was he a visionary or a heretic? The answer lies in the ruins of Akhenaten and the legacy he left behind. Akhenaten's religious reforms subverted the relationship ordinary Egyptians had with their gods and their pharaoh, as well as the role the pharaoh played in the relationship between the people and the gods. While Akhenaten may have been radical in his approach, there were positive aspects of his brief reign. Some of these aspects were seen during the height of Egypt and some after. He appears to have been a diplomatic pharaoh who was a man of peace and love, avoiding war and the need for conquest. He spread the message that the one God was within each of us. Priests were no longer needed as heavenly intermediaries. He changed the name of the king to Pharaoh, which means that which you shall become, while he attempted to lead by example, expressing compassion, kindness, and love. As written in the great hymn to Aten, written by Akhenaten, "Splendid Aten, though hidden from sight, O sole God beside whom there is none, you made the earth as you wished. You alone." While unpopular as it may be, he attempted to unite his people in truth. God was no longer seen as a higher being of man, but as an all-encompassing energy. Akhenaten's appearance in sculptures and carvings is often described as androgynous, with an elongated head, wide hips, almond eyes, and prominent belly. Some scholars believe that these depictions were realistic and reflect a genetic disorder, such as Marfan syndrome, while others claim it was artistic license, and that he exaggerated his features to differentiate himself from the people. However, ancient astronaut theorists claim that Akhenaten's lineage was not of this earth, and that he was a descendant of the time of Zep-Tepi, a time when higher beings not of the earth walked the earth among men. These higher beings would be elevated to gods upon their departure from earth. It is well noted that during his reign, Akhenaten was a strict adherent to truth. In fact, there was a reintroduction of Ma'at as the essence of truthfulness. He and his family would often wear no clothing because they believed that clothes hid the truth and encouraged egoistic behavior. Furthermore, he revolutionized art, requiring art to be painted realistically as it was, not as it was wished to be or abstractly. This begs the question, if he required all art to be drawn realistically, then why would he paint himself symbolically with exaggerated human features? Was this his true appearance? Could he be one of the last descendants of the Zep-Tepi beings who walked the earth? This depiction is one of the most famous of the Happy family, including the pharaoh, his queen, and their daughters. Akhenaten is offering wine to God. He and his wife are breathing in the life coming from the rays of the sun. They are overfilling their cups with the life-giving rays. One could speculate that Aten may be what powers the sun and not the sun itself, a true expression of God as the sole creator of life. Either way, the realism in the art of Akhenaten's time showed a balance of masculine and feminine energies harmoniously working together. It also emphasized a return to love and family, adding feminine energy to the current time. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt returned to its polytheistic traditions. But the relationship between gods and worshippers became more personal. The gods, rather than the pharaoh, were now seen as direct interveners in human lives. Akhenaten's story is one of ambition, faith, and the struggle between tradition and change. Whether seen as a heretic or a visionary, his contribution to the idea of a singular creator remains an enduring testament to the complexity of his legacy. His reign reminds us of the timeless human quest for truth, unity, and understanding. Whether you see Akhenaten as a heretic or a revolutionary, his contribution to the law of one, that there is but one God, rings in eternity. Thank you for watching this video on Akhenaten. If you wish to see more videos on ancient wisdom, subscribe below. Wishing you discovery of the love and light of the infinite creator. Namaste.